Hello, my name is Michael Dugan, and this is my analysis of Mr. Darcy by Victoria Chang. I'm going to start with a reading, and then I'm going to finish with my analysis. So without further ado, here we go. In the end, she just wanted the house and a horse, not much more. What if he didn't own the house? Or worse, not even a horse? How do we separate the things from a man, the man from the things? Is a man still the same without his reins? Here it rains every 15 minutes. It would be foolish to marry a man without an umbrella. Did Cinderella ever really love the prince, or just the prince on the curtain in the ballroom? Once I went window shopping, but I didn't want a window. When do you know it's time to get a new man, one who can win more things at the fair? I already have 4 stuffed pandas from the fair I won fair and square. It is time to be less square, to wear something more revealing. In the north and south she does the dealing, gives him the money in the end, but she falls in love with him. When he has the money, when he is still running away, if the water is running in the other room, is it wrong for me to not want to chase it because it owns nothing else? When I wave to a man, I love what happens when another man with a lot more bags waves back. So this poem, as an overall meaning, is talking about women and or the role of women in a marriage and the role of a man and his the difference between marriage as an expression of love and marriage as almost a business transaction. And we start with a very famous literary allusion in the title of this poem, Mr. Darcy. This is referring to Pride and Prejudice. Now, in Pride and Prejudice, Lizzie Bennet is one of 5 girls. And in the context of the story, which was um, old rural England, a family of 5 girls would not be able to inhabit the house after their patriarch, who in this case was Mr. Bennet, died. Therefore, all 5 girls needed to find a husband in order to remain either in their house or move into the estate of the husband and inhabit the other sisters. Now, Mr. Darcy was the man that Lizzie Bennet eventually falls for and marries. However, Chang raises a very interesting point in the very first line of this poem, which is, in the end, she just wanted the house. In the end, Bennet's motivations were finding a home for her family. Now, Pride and Prejudice is known as a beautiful love story. However, that motivation is still there, and that's something that she's exploring throughout this poem. She has another allusion later in. She discusses the story of Cinderella. She asks, did Cinderella really love the prince, or just the prince on the curtain in the ballroom? Was Cinderella truly in love, or was she just looking for a way out of her life in squalor? These allusions help connect the first half of her poem, which is the questioning, to Chang's own, or the speaker of this poem's own idea about her role and her search for a romantic partner, which is, she does this through symbolism. So she states, um, do you know, when do you know it's time to get a new man, one who can win more things at the fair? I already have 4 stuffed pandas from the fair I won fair and square. She's stating that the pandas from the fair symbolize something to be won, something to be gained, and in this something to be gained. In this case, it's money or monetary gain. And she's saying that she already has 4 stuffed pandas from the fair. She's already made this comfortable life for herself, which is a lot different than the characters she was referencing, Lizzie Bennet or Cinderella, earlier in the story. However, she talks about her own complicated emotions during or in relation to this kind of relationship. She states much later in her poem, um, is it wrong for me not to chase it because it owns nothing else? When I wave to a man, I love what happens when another man with a lot more bags waves back. She's saying that although she can win her pandas fair and square, she's still searching for a man who is more affluent and can support her. And that's kind of the point of this poem, which is that kind of questioning between um, like a woman's role in both a marriage and a marriage as a whole being either for love or more transactional. Now, some other things that Chang does, which really ties the message of this poem together, is she uses a lot of enjambment and interesting syntax. A lot of the lines in her poem just kind of flow. A lot of the word choice, she'll flip words on their head and use them in different ways. 2 places that she does that I found really interesting, where she says, um, "Once I went window shopping, but I didn't want a window." She says, uh, "Who wins more things at the fair? I already have 4 stuffed pandas from the fair. I won fair and square." And running away if the water is running. She's using all of these different kinds of words and flipping them on their head almost to create like a sense of confusion in her poem. And that's the same thing that she does using that kind of rambling style that she does. And all of this kinds of paints this picture of her questioning her role and, as I said before, questioning that marriage. So that is my analysis of the poem Mr. Darcy. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for listening.